Hey guys, welcome to an episode of Lounge 1111, and we are doing a collaborative effort with my brother Roger Lee Quotes, RLQ. Say hi, Raj.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Roger Lee speaking. Great to see you again, Pat.
Yeah, what's up, man? It's been a while since
It
the
has
last
been a while.
podcast.
Yeah, and you're in Tokyo right now, which is amazing. It's a place that I really want to go to. You've been there
Yeah,
many times already.
it's been. I mean, I've been here for a couple days now,
Hmm.
and it's been amazing. I've been here for the Comic Con
Oh,
that
right.
year in December. So yeah, it was amazing. It was a we had a really great time there. There's tons of booths. Marvel, DC Comics was there, and we just had a really good time. But it's pretty cold in Tokyo right now, and
Hmm. Like here in
but there's,
Toronto, it's like getting cold.
yeah, it's like snowing over there, right?
Yeah, it started snowing like a few days ago, but the weather hasn't arrived yet, but it's okay. It started late, so I'm still grateful that it's no snowstorm yet. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
It's cold here, but it's yeah, it's not too bad. It's cold during the night, but when it rained a little bit yesterday, but it's not too bad.
mhm. How you're leaving Tokyo soon, right? Is it tomorrow, right? It's actually.
Y- Yeah, I've been here for a couple days. The Comic Con was on the 6th, and so and we had many different meetings and stuff like that. So I've been here for a few days now, but
Hmm.
man, it's just such an awesome experience. If your viewers haven't been to Tokyo, you're gonna just love it. It's amazing here, and it's just the people are awesome, and it's the food is great, and
Yeah, I heard
I
the vibes there is
see
incredible there. I mean, you can totally
yeah,
feel it, like because I think just everyone there is just very like high frequency level people, like just I mean, environment plays a very big role, right? And I guess I've never been to Japan, but
mhm,
but just by hearing what other people have been saying, like I spoke with our cousin Jennifer and Tina, and I think Jennifer just came back from Tokyo, and she's like Tokyo would be like the first, or Japan would be like the first place that they go to, like when they go on
mhm,
vacations, right? So I think she's gonna go back there again, right? And even
mhm.
Michelle loves going there.
Yeah,
And yeah, so one day,
yeah.
hopefully, I'll get a chance to go and actually go with you, Pat, to go
Yeah.
and stop myself from shopping there because I'm sure there's a lot of things to buy there.
There's a lot of different types of shows that happen every single month. So,
Hmm.
and when I was taking the train to go to the Comic Con, we passed by Disney. I've never been to Disney before, but we just passed by it, and it's massive. It's so huge, right? Like you
Hmm.
need like the whole day, if not 2 days, to actually go through Disneyland. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot to see here. There's a lot to do, and it's just a very it's a fun, vibrant energy
Mm.
city.
Yeah, and it's good to be in that kind of environment, right? So especially if you're
Yeah,
coming from a place where it's just you know, filled with negativity or even like the people that you surround yourself with, and you just need to get a break from that and to go to some place where you can just feel like it's different, and
yeah,
that energy will affect you, right? Because we are all made out of energy. So
mhm,
if you put yourself in a place where there's a lot of good energy and good vibes there, you'll take
mhm.
some of that back home, like, and even though when you go home, you're gonna feel like, oh my gosh, I'm back home. It feels so cruddy here. At least you still know what it feels like to be in a place where it's full of positive energy, right?
Yeah. I think that um, I think if you're ever feeling in a space where you don't feel positive, sometimes you just have to find find a new frequency, find a new form of energy.
For
Sometimes
sure.
put yourself. So getting to the idea of when you're going through a kind of difficult experience, sometimes we go through these patterns, right? It's all frequency. It's about breaking out of the boundaries or the breaking out of your own shackles in a way, because we're all made up of energy. We're all made of frequency, right?
Vibrations.
Yeah, and sometimes we have these repeating thoughts that we keep manifesting over and over and over again. So you have to realize that and say, "Hey, wait a second. I'm like going through the same experiences over and over again. It could
Hmm.
be in a relationship, or it could be something you're experiencing financially. It could be a health issue. But all these different things, you just can keep manifesting the same situation over and over again, because you're not thinking any different, and therefore you won't be able to experience anything different. So it's really
Hmm.
important to stop yourself and say, wait a second, how come I keep like experiencing the same thing? And once you start changing your mindset or your energy of those particular beliefs, you'll start to realize that you can break out of those frequencies by changing the belief, or changing the way you normally do things, so that you can experience something different. And by breaking out of it, you can just walk down the street and just for 15-20 minutes, and just take a walk, get a breather, and just try to change that energy, what change the normal way that you've been doing things.
Hmm.
And
So I was
yeah.
watching this video the other day. This guy that was being interviewed said something that was so powerful. So what he said was, what you do frequently
Hmm.
becomes your frequency.
Oh,
That
wow.
is super powerful. So basically, like, it's what you're thinking about all day. What are you doing the most? That is basically what your frequency is going to become. So when I was going through my anxiety and depression, that really dark time of my life, the only thing I was thinking about was how bad my life was, that I was never going to find happiness, I was never going to heal, that my life was crap, right? And that was a repetitive cycle that I did like consistently, frequently, right?
Yeah.
So that became my frequency. Very low, low frequency, low vibrational frequency.
Mm.
And when you're vibrating at such a low rate, is like that just causes so much negativity that it becomes a snowball effect, right? It's a ripple effect because everything that you think of, everything that you do causes a ripple effect, which is gonna continue on to the next day, right? And
Yeah.
and further. So if you don't figure a way how to change that, change the way you think, then you will be stuck there, right? And what Pat was saying about how, when sometimes you wake up or you just realize that every single day is the same is because what you're doing every single day, thinking about every single day is the same. It's almost like playing that same song over and over again, right? It just becomes very, very repetitive. So if you can just think to yourself that, okay, well, if I need to raise my frequency, I need to start thinking more positively because positive the vibrational positive frequency is very high at a very high state. So when you start to love yourself, when you start to be more grateful, when you start to appreciate your life, when you start doing all these amazing things, right, that is creating a higher frequency. It's a higher vibrational state, which means that you will be vibrating at a higher state, which will then lead to you being having a more, you'll be living your life in a higher frequency. And I think that is something that we should all be thinking about right now, just to, because I don't, a lot of people aren't aware of this. There's a shift happening, right? It's the 3D Earth shifting into a higher frequency to the five dimensional. And I spoke about this a lot on my last podcast and stuff. But if you can just, if you don't know about it, you can do research on it. I mean, a lot of people are talking about it, and it's about raising your vibration so that your consciousness goes to a higher level, right? We spoke about this long time ago, right, Pat? Like over 15 years ago, we were already interested in the thought of learning about frequencies and vibration, about the 3D Earth shifting into a 5D Earth and all that stuff, right? And now it's happening. So,
Mhm.
I mean, you can probably feel it right there now in Tokyo, how it may be different from where it is when you're
Well, I mean, I think in every in every one city, there's, you know, the lows and highs.
highs.
You know, I think the most important thing is, as an individual, you have to, when you're vibrating in a low energy, that you have to look at things from, you know, different perspective. And sometimes when you're vibing low, right? It's there's all these different frequencies that you're experiencing. That's why I always think like it's better to, like when you're on watching television or watching
Hmm.
the news
Or like
or
scrolling through your phone.
yeah, like whatever you're consuming. Sometimes you're consuming something on the news or something, and it's very negative. So you
Yep.
have to shut that off, right? Or so it's more like, how do you fix what's going on inside of you? Because at the end of the day, what's going inside of you is what you're creating in your reality. So I think it's really important. Like for instance, when you have to look at like what is the content that you're digesting and how is it affecting you. Are you watching horror films? Are you watching the media that's telling you like all these things that are happening that are extremely negative? Or are you reading a book that's creating a kind of disturbance within your vibration? Because if you let's say we're talking about spirituality, like your chakra points, right?
Hmm.
Uh, your your lower chakra, your pain body is essentially holds on to a lot of this fear, a lot of this anger, a lot of this anxiety. And so we have to clear those feelings, those emotions. Why? Because they're anchoring you from living your joy, from living your what you want. These belief systems that are creating it. I understand that life sometimes can be really hard. Right? Everyone has difficulties in life, in their journey of life. But at the end of the day, it's like it's those beliefs that you carry within you that are creating a constant manifestation and creating in your reality. It's good to not look at the outside and say and look at the outside world and say I'm waiting for something to fix, you know, fix me or fix this inside of me. But I think if you can not like rely on outside, but go within yourself and ask yourself, what is it that I want to you know, experience in life? What do I want to change in my life? What are the things that I want to experience differently that I'm not experiencing? And realign yourself energetically to create a different reality, to create a different experience. That is the only way that in this reality, in this matrix, where you're going to be able to change your destiny, because it has to come in here inside of you first. You can't wait for other people to fix it for you. You have to change it yourself. If you're in a situation that you're going through that's causing you to feel negative or to feel you know, horrible or to feel depression, the only way to go to fix it is to actually go inside yourself and realize what it is that you are that's creating this havoc in your experience, in your reality. And
Hmm.
once you come to that realization of what it is, then you can go in and fix it, you know.
Hmm.
And it's not going to be easy. It could mean breaking relations. It could be like selling your home. It could mean um, you know, getting rid of something, a bad habit that you've had, like alcohol, or you know, getting seeking some help in some way. But the most important thing, it has to come from inside first, because you have to realize what it is that you need to fix. You
Yeah.
know, let's
For
could be suffering from depression, but if they don't know what they're really depressed about, if they can't find what the meaning is behind as to why they're feeling that way, then how can you fix it? How can you resolve?
So yeah, and that's something we're talking about, like how there's that inner pain and how you're supposed to figure out how to do that. Because when you're trying to discover like how am I supposed to change my life, or like sometimes like for myself, I like all the things that I learned, that all the things that I've been doing with my quotes and the videos and my live streams and stuff, everything that I learned was due to what I went through. So if you're trying to figure out right now, like, what am I supposed to do to change myself? How am I supposed to find my, my joy, my happiness, my purpose, whatever you're searching for? I had to go through a very, very traumatic experience in my life, and maybe that one thing that's going on right now with you, if it's dark, then maybe that is supposed to happen so that you can figure out more about yourself. So you don't have to worry about, because most of the time we're thinking about all the things that are happening outside of ourselves. We're listening to what people are saying. We're comparing our lives with other people, and that confuses you because you're just like, maybe you're thinking, I wish I was that person, or I wish I had that. I wish I had what that person has, and why can't my life be like that person? So now, when you're starting to listen, or you're looking and you're observing, and you're comparing yourself with other people, you're starting to lose a sense of who you really are, right? So when you're going through a dark time, you can start focusing on what you need to do for yourself. What are the changes that you need to do to make it different for you? And that's about spending time alone with yourself, right? So I spent a lot of time alone with myself, and it made me realize about all the things that, okay, wait, I need to stop viewing other people's lives. I need to start focusing on what I already have in my life first, right? So I started looking at my family. I started looking at, the place I live in, like even if it comes down to like, the breakfast you're having on your table, or maybe when you're sleeping, you're actually sleeping in a room with nice cozy blankets or whatever. That's just something that you should appreciate, right? So I started there. I started to realize that, what, my life isn't that bad. Okay. A lot of people think that, oh, my life is crap. I thought that my life was crap. Like my life sucks. I hate myself because my life sucks. Why does your life suck? Why is your life that bad? Right? That's you telling yourself that your life is bad, but is it really that bad? Right? So your mind is going to start creating all these things, and it's going to fool you so many times because your mind can lie to you, right? So you have to make that decision, because everything boils down to a choice. Are you believing in what your mind is telling you? Are you listening to it 100%? Because when you start to believe in it 100%, then that's going to become your reality. The more you believe in it, the more it's going to become a reality. So when I started to switch it around and I started to tell myself that, what, my life isn't bad. Why do I hate myself? Why all these thoughts in my head are telling me how bad my life is and all that stuff I was believing. Do I really have to believe in it? Or can I really switch it and tell myself that, hey, you know what, Roger, you should start loving yourself. You should start being grateful. You should start doing this. You should start doing that. And that's when I started to vibrate at a higher, I start to vibrate in a higher level, right? So I wanted to change that. And when I started to realize all the things that I needed to do to change my life, with all the, like, just appreciating what I have in my life already changed everything for me, right? I started to see my life change. And from there, I started to realize what I needed to do to, start planting the right seeds, because I didn't want to wake up in the morning and start walking into a dark forest every single day. I wanted to wake up in the morning and be able to look at the nice, beautiful flowers in my garden, right? And I think, what if you're going through a very difficult time right now, whatever is going through right now, I think you are going to find a lot about yourself and what you need to do to, you know, get to a point where you can start enjoying life again, right? Yeah, and so that's exactly what you're talking about, right? It's about what, like, I think a lot with social media right now is something that it's hurting a lot of people, but it's also helping a lot of people too. But right, don't get me wrong, but it's all about what are you really focusing your attention on? What are you listening to? Right? Are you watching the news all day? Right? When you
Well,
know that. right?
About social media, because you brought up a really interesting point. When you look at social media and you see a lot of people who are doing motivational videos or trying
Hmm.
to inspire people, and some people are still not activating on what it is that they truly want to do.
Hmm.
Um, Still, with all so many people, those like thousands and thousands of people that are trying to motivate other people, and at what point is it going to take? Which video is it going to take, or which quote is it going to take for you to push yourself to that point where you're willing to make a change in your life?
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're just going to be sitting on your couch and just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you're gonna continue to digest, and you're gonna get into this cycle of scrolling where you're not going to do anything for days, weeks, and months without making any change. You can't, like, it's so hard to, I understand when you're going through a difficult time that it's very difficult to get out and do something different from what you normally are thinking or normally of what you're doing. But I guarantee like, no, if, like, you can read a million quotes and you still may not be able to, like, get up and do something. So what, like, you got to push yourself. You
Hmm.
have to force yourself. It's not easy to force yourself, especially when you're going through mentally really difficult time. Especially depression. It's one of those things, and I've experienced many of my friends, many of my family members, many people that I know that have suffered from depression. Everyone has suffered from depression, but at one point in time, they said, "No, enough's enough." Right? Enough's enough. I can't keep going in this cycle. Like, if, or else it's gonna drain you. And think about
Yeah.
it. Our life is so short. I mean, we've got, at most 100 years of life. You might as well experience it as best as you can. Nowadays, I've gone through so much, like, things in my difficult and dark moments in my life, that every single morning when I wake up, I just thank the universe that I have this day to live, right? And I ask myself, what can I do today that was better than yesterday? I'm doing a podcast with my brother right now at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I have a
Yep.
flight tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but I want to do this,
Hmm.
because I want to be better than who I was yesterday. I want to
You
make
know,
a change.
you know what's funny? That what you just said when you're talking about what is that one quote that's gonna get you moving? That was that quote that for me that
Mhm.
really got me to really change myself. And I really thought because I didn't know anything about improving yourself or being that best version of yourself, right? But when
Yeah.
I read that quote about that being better than who you were yesterday, I really thought about it and I just kept thinking about that every single day. And I was just like, I want to be that. I want to do that every single day. I want to wake up in the morning and tell myself that I'm better today than who I was yesterday,
Hmm.
right? And when you have that kind of mindset, it opens so many doors for you. Like it's just like you can start seeing yourself doing great things or accomplishing things that you thought you could never do.
Hmm.
And I think with you telling yourself that challenging yourself and and doing these certain things that it's gonna make yourself believe that you can do great things. I
Hmm.
mean, that sense of accomplishment is such an amazing feeling. And that's why I like to work out, right? Because it's like most people when they do certain things, they want to see fast results, especially in these days. Thank you,
Yeah.
Amazon, for that.
You.
Right? It's like I want something, I want it today, I want it right now, I want it tomorrow. So it's like when you do something and you don't see progress, that causes people to be like, oh, you know what? Like I don't see any results, right? So I'm just gonna quit, right? But when you work out, when at least when you wake up in the morning, you're gonna feel some sort of pain, and the next couple of days you're gonna see a little bit of growth, right, or something. And so, working out gives you that, but you don't have to work out. I'm just saying that if you want to do something, then just don't think about it. Like I wouldn't have created what I have today if I just sat on the couch and just thought about it, right? There is a part in this world, because it's a physical world, that we have to actually go out and physically do it to make it become our reality, right? Unless you're a super, yeah, unless you can manifest like crazy, okay? But most people, they're probably not at that stage yet. But like it's all about getting up and just doing it, because if you don't do it, you're never going to know. So with me and my brother doing a podcast, it's like we've talked about it so many times about doing it, but it's come to a point where it's like, what, Pat just called me up, he's like, let's do a podcast. I'm like, yeah, let's do it, right? It's like these are the things, and look, and it's a reality. So
I
these are
believe in, you know, living your passion. When I say this, the reason why I say you have to really strive in life towards what you're passionate in doing. Why? Because it is passion that will continue to keep doing it
for
until
sure.
you succeed at it.
Yeah,
And
because you love it.
I'm not saying that you're not going to fail. I'm not saying that you're not going to trip over. I'm not saying there's not going to be hurdles. But
Sorry, that's my dog.
by doing something that you really love to do, it's going to you keep doing it and doing it,
Hmm.
and you're going to go over certain hurdles. Because you have passion for it, so you're going to be able to like overcome those difficult moments.
Okay, give me 1 second. I gotta move her out of this room. Okay, she's squeaking a toy in her mouth. Go out.
Hilarious, man.
No, out. No, out. Go, go.
Oh man, it's so
Sorry,
cute.
Pat. That
Yeah,
was
no,
my dog Kona, as she was playing with her toy. She was squeaking it. But yes, the passion thing is, the finding your passion is probably going to be one of the hardest things in life.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people are actually doing something right now that they, I mean, because money, everyone's thinking about how they're going to make money. So that takes a lot away from finding your passion, because it's like you go to work, you have to go to work. You might have a
I
job.
totally.
Most people right? Most people have a job that they probably don't like, right?
Mhm.
And inside it's just like, but I really, inside deep within, there's something that I really want to do, but I just can't. I have no time. I have this, I have that, I have that. And you're not able to do it. I am blessed, and I just know, finding what I love to do was just, it came to me in a way, because, with the whole accident and me going through my anxiety and depression, I like, if I visited myself like today, and I went back to my previous self 8 years ago, and I told myself, hey, Roger, guess what? You're going to be writing quotes one day, and you're going to be helping people all over the world. I'd be like, are you joking me? Right? Like, me, Pat. I was never good at writing. I never believed that I could write. I was an editor when we had our comic book publishing company, but that wasn't me really writing. So, sometimes you're going to have to go through something, and your passion will find you, right? But I think everyone deep inside, they know it's there, right? So don't worry if you haven't found your passion. It may happen to you where, like, something that happens to you through your life will lead you to that. But when you do find that thing that you love to do, and you wake up in the morning and you're just like, I can't wait to start doing it. Like, you just glow. Like, the first thing I think about is what I can write to help people. That just gets me up in the morning, and I love it, right? So
Mhm.
to be able to do that, like for you, Pat, I mean, we're working on our new project together, which is super exciting. I got a chance to work with you again, Pat, on our new IP, and I think, just for yourself, Pat, just thinking about it, and knowing that it's coming to a reality must be an amazing feeling for you, right? Because this project is something that you have so much passion for, right?
Yeah, I mean, if sometimes like for the samurai project that we're developing,
Hmm.
that took like a very long time,
Ages,
you know,
ages.
to get it developed. And
Hmm.
the reason why it took a long time is because I wasn't I wasn't doing what I was passionate about.
Exactly, exactly.
So and I kept holding it off and holding it off and holding it off, and I knew it was something that I really wanted to develop in my heart, but
Yeah.
I wasn't pushing myself to do it because I was like giving myself all kinds of excuses. I don't have time to do it.
Hmm.
Where am I going to have time to write a comic book series?
Or
Let
draw.
but everything was pointing towards the direction of, trying to move into that direction, right?
Hmm.
Here I am in Tokyo, having meetings and talking about our comic book project and our intellectual property, and I'm having a blast doing it, and I don't know how it kind of happened, and I'm not saying it's not going to be a difficult journey, but I'm doing something that I really really love to do,
Hmm.
and it's also spinning off into other all kinds of different other possibilities,
Yeah.
because I'm meeting more people, I'm experiencing new things, and so as you pour your passion into it, you're vibrating in something
Yes.
you really really enjoy doing, and that's affecting also other people's thoughts, and they might have an idea, and they might say, hey, I really like that idea, how can I be involved, or you know uh, how can I help the project move it along. So don't look at when you're excited about something that you really want to do. Don't always look at the end result, and it doesn't always don't you don't have to tie it into a whole financial thing as well. Meaning, um, you don't have to quit your day job because you're trying to live your dream. Sometimes you got to balance it, right? You got to pay your bills. You got to there's stuff that you got to handle financially. That's fine. But when someone tells me that and they say, "Oh, I absolutely have no time in doing it," believe me, I've been giving myself that same excuse for the last 10 years. Oh, I don't have time to do this comic book project. But now I'm like, I realize is that this is my passion. This is
Yeah.
something that I want to do. And if I don't do it, the universe is just going to keep putting roadblocks in my way until it moves me towards that passion. The universe knows exactly what you want
Yeah,
in
like
life.
even though you were like super busy, I remember like every single day you were showing me bits and pieces because like every day you'd be at least doing like one panel or you would color something, but
Yeah.
you were still taking those little steps. You did take that time, even though you were super busy. You did put a little bit of effort into that project every single day, right? And then eventually it started to grow and grow and grow. And then because if you had never planted that seed, it would never come to fruition, right?
Mhm.
So it's like anybody that has something that they wanted to do, but they know that they're so busy with their day job, spend like 5-10 minutes on it every single
Yeah.
day and just work on it so that at least you can have a bit of that feeling of something that you love to do, right? Because
Mhm.
you don't want to spend the rest of your life doing something that you hate. That is probably like you're gonna look back at it when you're like 100 years old. Hopefully you live that long, and you're just like, you know what, I so regret not taking the opportunity when I had the chance to at least spend a little bit of that what I love to do every single day, just to
Yeah.
get that feeling of what it's like to work on something that you love to do. And again, Pat was saying, don't think about the money first, right? If it's something that you love to do, then that you're alone, that passion, that thing that you're working for will one day end up to you making some good money, right? And that money is just going to be bonus for you because the whole time that you've been working on something that you love to do, you weren't even thinking about the money because you were enjoying it so much that that you love doing what you do, right?
I think it's important that like people create their own missions, you know?
Goals, you have to
Yeah,
have those.
goals, missions. Like for me, I don't call them goals. I don't know why, but I call them missions. Maybe
Hmm.
because I like, watching war movies and
War
stuff like that.
movies.
But like the reason why I call them missions is because it's like, okay, I haven't yet uh, gotten it or received it yet, or I haven't like yet achieved it. So I look at it as like a mission. I'm on a mission to
Hmm.
create this comic book project, and I'm not gonna stop until like I
It
make
becomes
it
my reality.
or I turn to reality. Or if
Yeah.
it could be it could be, it doesn't have to be such a huge mission. It could be something very, very small. It could be something like, today I want to go jogging for 15 minutes, because it's to break your own personal schedule every single day. And if jogging is not something that you normally do, it's not going to be easy, man. You have to break your current routine, your normal routine, mentally and physically, to actually go ahead and do it. So, but make it a mission. Say today, I'm going to like jog for 15, 20 minutes,
Hmm.
right? Put on those shoes, get ready, go out, break that schedule, do it. And believe me, you're going to set yourself free. And that's going to be the very beginning of you creating more missions, in your life.
Hmm.
And you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it until it becomes fun, until it becomes a habit, until you break free from yourself mentally so that you can alter your reality. And that's how you alter your reality. You
Hmm.
have to force yourself to do it.
Well,
It's not easy, man.
it's funny how you mentioned about jogging and stuff because Michaela, I just did a podcast with her last week, and she was talking about, how she wanted to start, doing more physical things. Because so she started going to the gym
Mm,
about a year ago, a year and a half ago, and she went on the treadmill. I guess she had a mission to to try to like run as long as she possibly could, right? So when she first started, I mean, she was saying that she can only run for like maybe 5 minutes tops, right?
mm,
But fast forward a year and a half later, or maybe even shorter than that, she can run 45 minutes now straight. So
mm.
it's like you can see that because
That's
she had that mission, she really wanted to do it and really get to a point where she can actually run more than a kilometer or whatever. I don't know how long how far she runs, but just to see that transformation because of one person's belief, you can make you can make anything, like anything that you thought that was impossible, you can probably make it a possibility for yourself if you just can believe in that you can do it, right?
mm,
And that, but I think there's a big difference between mission and goal. Is when you think of mission, you have like this drive, right? That it's like I have to complete it, right? So my mission, I created a mission for myself too, right? My mission was to try to help as many people as I possibly can after I healed myself. That was my mission, right? And I'm still on that mission, right? Like I'm just like every single day, I have to complete it. I just have to try to help as many people as I possibly can, So, it's about that drive. I think that's very important.
I think,
I think
yeah, I think people worry too much about like what other people think,
for
and it
sure.
stops people from living their true authentic self.
Exactly. It
If you,
does.
yeah, I mean, sometimes like people will give you like the bad advice, or they'll be like, "Oh,
Hmm.
do that," because if you do that, then da, da, da. But why are they there to tell you that? Like sometimes you have to take it with a grain of salt about like on what people tell you, because they're not you. They're not, they're not living your life. And it could be, your friend, your family, or whatever, but you gotta listen, but ask yourself if that makes sense to you. If someone says,
Hmm.
"Oh, don't do a podcast because if you do that, then
You're gonna
uh,
embarrass yourself,
you're gonna
or
embarrass
what if you say
yourself."
the wrong things?
It's like, so what, man? It's like I see so many people just saying, "Screw it." They're just
Of
doing
course.
what they love to do, and they just do it because they're
And
like, "Oh, I've had enough, man. I want to be me myself."
the most successful people, I think that's their mindset because they
Yeah,
don't care what people say, right? They
right.
know for sure that, they don't know what makes me happy or what I'm going to do to make myself successful,
Yeah.
right? Because they're on their own journey, right? You can think of whatever you want, but hey, listen, this is my story. I got the pen. I'm gonna write it. I don't need someone to hold the pen for me, and that was what I was thinking when I first started writing quotes. I was in a phase at the beginning, like, should I do it? Should I write? I was kind of scared because I was like, what are people gonna say about it when I post it? Are they
It
gonna
takes
laugh at
bravery.
me?
It takes
Huh?
bravery to
It does. It does.
it a
It's that
lot.
first step. It's so scary,
Yeah.
right? But I said, you know what? I don't care because, I know for a fact that I enjoy doing it. I know that as long as I'm able to at least help one person, hey, I did something great in this world, So I just kept doing it and doing it, and luckily, people read my stuff, and I've been able to help a lot of people. So just believe just go with your gut, you know, and if you feel that it's something that you love to do, don't let anybody stop you from doing it, because that is what is going to guide you to learn who you are supposed to be, right? And
Yeah.
don't let anybody stop you ever.
I think if people try to like, if people sometimes they tell you not to do something, or you shouldn't do it because of this. It's just their opinion, right?
Yeah.
They're just looking at it from their perspective, and you can look at it and make the judgment call yourself. But
Hmm.
if it's something that you truly want to do and they're looking at you and saying, "Oh, you can't do it," well, then prove them wrong, right? Like
I think
make it
that's
a
probably the best feeling.
yeah, it's the best feeling when you can. I'm not to say that you're doing it because you're trying to make them feel better, or like to make yourself. How do you say, it's like you're not trying to do it to please them, but you're also doing it because you're like, hey man, that's not true. I can do this. I
Hmm.
want to do this, and it's something that I think that it's going to bring me positivity and change my life, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes people will give me advice that I don't take, right? Not to say that they're saying it because they don't mean well or anything, but maybe I look at it and I don't think the same way. So you have to make your own judgment calls, and your heart knows what decisions that you need to make, and you have to really listen to that. And I think a lot of people get affected by what other people say, and there's so much judgment of this and that, and it's like, hey man, this is your life. You have to make decisions that are best for you, that are best for your mind and your body and your soul, because no one's living your life, right? The only
Hmm.
person that's living your life is you.
Yep.
um, and the more you're not doing anything, the more you're not experiencing life of what it really is. You have to, in order to fully live life, you have to do what it is that you came to this planet to experience. You came to this planet to experience something very unique and very specific.
Hmm.
And your soul is calling you to that journey every single day. And the more you stop yourself from living that journey, the more it's going to be more difficult for you. The universe will keep finding ways to keep nudging you and pushing you until you actually live the your that experience of like what your journey truly is. And the more you step away from it, the more you look in a different direction, the universe is just going to keep putting stuff in front of you, put you in situations, and sometimes those situations are going to be very difficult, right? It's going to put so many things in to redirect your thoughts and redirect you to move towards what you're really passionate about in life. And it's all about energy. Your thoughts, your desires, your true passion, your true desires to want to experience in life. That is in that is a frequency that is vibrating you constantly every single day, right? No matter how negative a person is. And the universe acknowledges that you want to experience, let's say, abundance, or you want to experience happiness. Uh, so when you're going through your life and you're moving in the wrong direction, the universe is gonna redirect you and push you, and it's going to push you hard. The more you're off your path, the more the universe is going to make it harder. It's just going to keep pushing you until you realize it yourself that, hey, I got to move and turn this way. I got to move in that direction. And I've been in so many different types of experiences where the universe keeps nudging me towards, hey, Pat, you got to do that comic book. You got to build that IP. You got to live your passion. You got to, keep drawing. And so I think like it's important to, yes, you need other people to motivate you to kickstart things. But at the end of the day, it's really up to you to make that decision on when you're going to actually physically do it, to
Hmm.
start. Yeah.
I think what I learned, the most important thing I think I learned from my journey, number one was going through a lot of darkness. And the darkness helped me discover who I was supposed to be. But in order for me to discover who I was, I had to start loving myself. And I love talking
Oh
about loving
yeah.
yourself because loving yourself changes everything. So when I started to do that, first of all,
There-
I had to figure out how to do it because I remember I always say this. There's one time Pat asked me, and this is what before I had my accident, all the stuff that happened to me. He just asked me, Roger, do you love yourself? I literally froze for 30 seconds because I didn't know how to answer that because
I
I didn't
remember that.
even know. Yeah, I didn't know what it meant. Like, what do I have to like buy like good nice clothes and and show off and does that loving myself? No, it's not. All right, it's all about I was talking about earlier about you being first of all appreciating your life and having a lot of gratitude. But the reason why I say loving yourself is because when the universe does see that you specifically are starting to focus on yourself and you are loving yourself, you're going to start open, a type of frequency that you will connect with the universe. All right. And because the universe already has a lot of things that they want to give you. But however, if you are vibrating at a very, very low frequency, you are not going to be tuned in. All right. So even if they said, here you go, here's all these beautiful things, you basically have the door shut because it's like you're not accepting you cannot basically tune. It's like when you're tuning in that knob and you're trying to find that radio station and you can't hear it because there's so much static. When you're thinking negatively, that negativity is the static which is blocking you from receiving. So the thing is, when you start to love yourself, that's a very, very strong frequency, right? You're vibrating at a high frequency. So when you are loving yourself, you are allowing the universe to say, hey, now I can start to receive it because when they give it to you, you are going to know exactly what to do with it, right? Just say I was like, when I was going through I had anxiety or I had severe depression, like if the universe said, here, Roger, here's a box full of happiness, at that time, I would not know what to do with it because I would be too overwhelmed because I was so focused on those negative things that made
Yeah,
me feel like I was living in such a dark place.
you
So
wouldn't even
when I,
know it is because you're vibrating in so much anger and
yeah, exactly.
you're in a different dimension. How could you
Exactly.
acknowledge
Exactly. Yeah. So
it?
when I started to
Yeah,
change my life, when I started to be more grateful, when I started to appreciate my life, I started loving it, opened so many doors. Not only was I happy, but my family was happy. My dog is always happy, but it's just like
Kona's
these
always
things, yeah, these things will just kind of like it's so weird. It's like these things, like my days started to get better and better, right? And before I was like telling myself, I know that tomorrow's gonna be a bad day. I know it's gonna be a bad day. Nothing is gonna happen that's gonna make me happy. And it literally that happened to me, right? But when I started to, found out, like my heart opened up, and I started to appreciate life more, and just waking up, being grateful for every single day, things started happening to me, like, with me writing quotes, with me meeting new people from all over the world, with me just interacting with all this love, like the people that on my page, man, you guys like are so amazing. There's so I just real like I hated people. Okay, it's so weird, right? Like when you're in a dark place, you start to hate everything, right? You start hating people, you start hating the world. But when I started to loving people and loving the world, it's like the universe just said, Roger, you're ready. So here it is. Here is the gift you've been waiting for. And the box opened up, and it's like I started to live it, and I think that's how it works for everybody. When you start to tune in to the same frequency as the universe, you will start to receive beautiful things in your life, right? And
Mhm.
I really believe that these things are going to happen to you, Pat, with our project. This thing that I think you've been waiting for so long is finally happening to you with all the things that you went through. Man, because you work so hard. Like I've seen you work since you were started the comic book industry when you're 18, doing all that work, all that stuff our comic book company, and even after that, doing all the stuff that you've been doing. I'm so happy to finally see that you're working on something that you've loved to do, with this project. So,
Yeah, I mean, there's I just love to create worlds, and I think that creating worlds is something that I really enjoy doing, and
hmm
I like working with other creators, other people that also like to, you know, develop develop worlds. And I think that what's really interesting about developing a new IP is that, yeah, it's, well, one, it's very, very difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. But at the same time, it's like when you see when you see it building up, and you start seeing the characters and the story and the plot, and everything starts to, you start to see how it unfolds,
hmm
and that gets me really excited about, the, like, wow, I can totally see this as a film, as an animation film or a live action film. But it, and it keeps evolving to the point where it just becomes, it's almost like I gotta tell the story, or it's like I gotta create these characters. And it's that passion for those characters and that plot and that story that drives you to do, something with it, or to share it with the world. So what I'm trying to say is, in this, is that, find out what it is that makes your heart tick, to the point where it's like, I need to express this, I need to share this with the world, I want people to see it. I talk to a lot of my friends, and I'm like, what is it that you truly, truly want to do? And a lot of my friends say, I want to help people. I
hmm
want to find a way to help
That's
people. It
great.
could be through charity, it could be through, giving something back to the world. And I'm like, man, that is so cool. Why don't you do it? Like, why don't
hmm
you? And it's like, I want to, but I just don't know how. I get that. But what I think is really cool is that they have that in their heart. It's like
Yeah,
they want to do something that's going to benefit other people.
that's amazing.
And, not everyone wants that. Some people, they just want to, do something for themselves, right? But they want to show people, like, this is what I have. This is my this is my love to the world, my creation. This is,
hmm
what, so ask yourself, what is it? What is your baby? What is the thing that you want to hold in your hand and say,
Nurture.
I'm willing to go through blood, sweat, and tears to make this happen. So ask yourself, what is it that is your baby that you really want to create, like, and share with the rest of the world? We're living in a time frame where, social media is going to be, it's happening right now. It's I mean, it's it's not easy to start a YouTube channel. It's not easy to start an IG channel, whatever. But if you keep doing it, it's like you're babying it. You know what I mean? It's like an
hmm
investment, right? It's like you're investing your effort, your time, and when you see it growing, it's such an amazing feeling. When you take a project, whether it's an whether it's, you're creating an IP, or writing poetry, or writing quotes, or starting your own YouTube channel. It's like when you see it evolving, that's the beauty, man.
It
That's
is a beauty.
when you're passionate about that, and you're driving it, and then you're taking it on its course, and you're watching it evolve. That's passion. And when
hmm
you need to find out what that is. What is your passion? And most importantly, not care about, like, what other people are telling you in a negative way. It's like you
For
have to
sure.
make your own decisions. Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want to do. I have to do this before I die. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I'm almost 50 years old, and
Really? I thought you were 30.
Yeah, I hope I still look 30. No, but
Yeah,
like,
you do.
I I feel like, I'm at a point where I'm just like, I don't want to waste. I can't waste time anymore. I don't, life is too short. Life is too short. Every single day you should be living your passion, doing what you love. And yeah, we all have bills to pay, and we all have to make money and pay bills and stuff. I get it, but if you have a 9 to 5 job, or your schedule's so busy, but you can carve 20 minutes a day, 30, half an hour, 30 minutes a day. If it's something that you're truly passionate about, that you want to do, you will make 30 minutes a day to so that you
Yeah.
can do it.
You
And
can even just start at 5 minutes a day, and
yeah,
then just slowly work out. But you're probably going to make it like 10, 15. It's just going to grow because you're just going to feel like how much you love doing it, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing something I love to do. Instead of waking up in the morning, going to work and saying, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to see that person. I don't want to, it makes a huge difference, right?
I
Yeah,
think
but
like
like,
a small amount of experience can create progress.
for
And
sure.
when you experience progress, you will
Yep.
want more of it.
Yep.
It becomes an addiction, right?
Yep.
So even if you make a small change, then in your routine, and you go, oh, that felt different, or I experienced something different, and it was fun and it was
Mhm.
exciting. I see a change in my life because of it. Well, then you're going to keep doing it more. But if you keep doing the same thing every day, over and over again, you know, uh, and you don't like it, how do you expect to make any changes in life if you're
Mhm.
not going to force yourself to make that change? And I think it's like it's not easy,
Yeah, like that's why I talk about my basement story a lot. Because every single day I woke when I was going through my anxiety and depression, obviously, like I woke up every single day with a panic attack. Every single day was the same day, and that's when I said, you know what, Roger, you need to change something when you wake up, right? So then that one day I said, you know what, I'm going to clean up my basement. Like
Yeah,
I looked down in my basement. I was just like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this myself because I was on like four antidepressants a day. So I was like drugged up.
man.
I was like
You
zombie mode, like for most of the day, like zombie mode. So it was hard for me to process it, but I don't think I would be able to clean up the basement if I wasn't so calm, right? I don't think
Yeah,
I would be able to clean up that basement if I was like if my anxiety kicked in, I had a panic attack. There's no way, right? So I do appreciate for what the pills actually did for me, but but the whole point of it was just after I cleaned up the basement, it took me 3.5 weeks, right? That's when I realized that when you are so focused on doing something that all the thoughts that you were thinking about all day, whether it's thinking about your past or your future, like I was just focused on the present moment, right? I was just focused on getting the job done. And waking up every single morning, instead of thinking how bad my life was, I was thinking to myself, I need to clean up the basement. I need to clean up the basement, right? So I woke up with a purpose, right? I never had that feeling for a long time because I kept waking up. I don't want to wake up because my day's going to be crap. But I finally was able to wake up and say, I can't wait to go down to the basement and start cleaning, right? And the more I cleaned up every single day, I looked back because I started off in a little corner. And every time I cleaned up a little part of the basement, I look back and say, wow, I did a good job today. And Pat
hmm
disappeared off the screen. Oh, no, he's back. Okay, you're back.
yeah.
Pat's back. So, I mean, like what we were talking about before, it's like when you start to see a little bit of progress, it kind of makes you want to keep going, right? And you're saying, like, oh my gosh, I actually can do something great, right? So, when I finally completed the basement, I was like, Roger, dude, you actually did that by yourself. Some guy that's hit rock bottom woke up every single morning and started to believe that he's not going to wake up every single morning with a bad day anymore. He actually was able to do something productive, for that day. And then when I realized I had a self-realization, it kind of woke me up and I was like, if I was able to do this by myself and I was able to accomplish this, what else can I do, right? What else? What are the other things that Roger Lee can do to make himself better or to become that better version of yourself, right? So I started working out again. I started cutting the grass again. I started doing house chores again. I started doing this again. And when I started doing more and more of those things, the more I felt like, wow, I think I can escape from this darkness. I was wrong. I was so wrong telling myself that I'm never going to heal myself, that I'm never going to find my happiness again. All these things that my mind was telling me. And that's when I got on that train, that bullet speed train. and I started to enjoy the ride rather than just felt like I was in shackles and I felt like I was drowning every single day. And my life became more exciting again. And I saw potential in myself that I was able to, that I myself, that Roger Lee that I was chasing for before my accident was the wrong version. You know, the version that I should be focused on was the new me and the better version of me. And so every single day I work on myself. Every single
Yeah,
day I want to become that best version
different
of myself.
person. You're
Huh?
such a different person from.
Completely, right? It's crazy.
Yeah,
Even sometimes
I still remember
Millie.
I got off the plane
Oh my
and
gosh,
yeah,
yeah.
you oh, man, I've never seen your physically your face looked like it was dripping off your skull. Like that
Ugh.
it was. It was really bad. Like I was really scared
So
about
he's talking about
what.
basically when I first was going through my anxiety and depression, I didn't tell anybody in my family, neither my mom or, I was hiding it away from my wife and everything. But Pat called me one day because I think I was out at a lunch with my mom. And even though I didn't tell her, I think she saw it and saw it in me. She knew something was wrong. I think mom contacted you, right? And that's
Yeah,
when you real you s- you ca- he called me and asked me what's wrong. And that's when I told him about my accident and that I was going through a very difficult time. And Pat was just like, you know what, dude, I'm gonna stop all my work. I'm gonna buy a plane ticket like right now, and I'm gonna fly to Toronto because he was in Hong Kong at the time. He's like, I'm gonna fly to Toronto like tomorrow, right? But obviously he couldn't find the ticket right away. But he basically got a ticket and he flew and he saw me. So that's what he's talking about. When he first saw me, I think you were like, I've never seen Roger like this before
yeah.
ever, right?
Yeah. By the way, I have to unplug my mic because I have 20% battery.
Yep.
So my mic might actually not work. I might have to use the phone mic.
Okay, no problem.
I say, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, so I have to always look back at that because Pat came. I was looking for help, and even with me going to like psychiatrists and stuff, I wasn't seeing the help that I wanted. But when I finally saw Pat, because I hadn't had seen him for such a long time because he was living in Hong Kong. It was so great to see, and he helped me every single day. He was making he was making like a shake for me every day. He was making me was it beetroot juice or something? Your
Yeah, it was like fruit juice or
fruit juice. He
beetroot
was making me
juice
all
or
these
something.
shakes. And we were taking walks in the park, and I still remember that. There was this one day we went to the park, and we were just looking at the sunset, and he massaged me for I think like 2 hours straight. Remember?
Yeah,
I was like, dude, my brother's the best, man. He's like
those,
my hero. He
those are
came all the way from Hong
crazy times.
Kong. Yeah, crazy times, and yeah, it was just such an I think it was a scary moment at the same time because it's like I'm sure when Pat saw me, he was just like, I don't think my brother's gonna ever recover from this. Because you came back again that time when I moved into mom's place. Remember that
Yeah,
time? I actually left my house. I moved into my mother's place, and I think when Pat came, he was like, "Dude, I don't think this guy's gonna recover, man." I was really really bad, right?
yeah.
Um,
I was, in my head, I was just like, man, I might end up losing my brother because of this. You know what I
it
mean?
was really bad.
So it was pretty severe. Like your panic attacks were so bad. Like I remember we had to like we had to call the ambulance
Hmm.
or we had to drive you to the hospital and it was I didn't know how you're going to get out of it, to be honest with you.
Neither did I.
I was really
Neither did
worried
I.
about leaving back to go back to Asia and then like
Hmm.
leaving you like that. Like
Yeah.
I didn't feel good. I remember the day that I was leaving to go back to Hong Kong and you still weren't okay. Like you were still sick and I was in my head I was just like I don't know how he's going to if when I leave, I don't know how he's going to be able to make it, you know? Like I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, and he was
I was
calling me
actually
almost every day after
I was
that.
concerned about mom too, you know,
Yeah.
because I was like, how's mom gonna handle this? You know what I
Man,
mean?
she was so strong during that time.
Oh
I
my
wouldn't have
god.
been
I
able
was
to
just
get through
like
it without her.
Yeah, I think mom's a true warrior, man.
Super
Like to
super
actually
human
go
being.
through all that,
Yeah.
like go through what she went with dad, and then also like
With me
going through what,
afterwards.
yeah, and then you afterwards. So I was
It's
really worried
crazy.
about her because she's at the age where she can't handle that anymore.
Hmm.
So yeah, so there was a lot on my mind at that time too, right? And I was facing my own like my own things in my life, right?
Hmm.
So there's a lot to balance too. But I'm grateful to have a lot of good support team. Like I have amazing friends. I'm very fortunate that I have like awesome friends that I can always go to. Um, and I have a great support team in Hong Kong. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's awesome. I'm really happy that I've got that support team. But you know what? Not everyone does, and I understand it's hard, man. Sometimes you're alone, and you feel so like you feel like no one's there for you. You don't you feel like no one understands you, especially when
Hmm.
you're depressed. You feel like no one gets you, and no matter how someone tries to talk to you or whatever, it's like, nah, they don't get me.
I was
They
exactly
don't they
like
don't
that.
understand me, and that's where you have to make changes for yourself because you're the only one who can understands your pain. You're the only one who understands what you're experiencing. And the only one that can really make the change is you. It's for you to recognize I'm suffering or I'm going through this anxiety or I'm going through this depression. So it's important to realize that you are going through that and that you know that you have to solve it. There's no escape. You can't escape it. And suicide and all that stuff, it's not going to help your soul. Like you don't want to experience that, man. Like you want to overcome it, and you want to overcome it in this life, not the next life. So um and I understand, like, yeah, suicide is a very difficult thing to talk about. I mean,
It
I know
is.
so many people in my life that have done it, have committed suicide. It's not an answer, man. To
Yeah, I just had one of my followers or a friend from one of my pages. She messaged me last week, and she said that one of her friends from school like took his own life. And not
Yeah,
too long ago, her best friend took her own life. So she's gone through some pretty tough times, right? So it's just you just never know what they're thinking about, and some people they usually sometimes they don't even tell what's bothering them. You're just like they just seem so perfectly fine, and the next thing you know, it's like they're gone,
yeah.
right?
But
So
you know what?
and that
I always feel the answer to everything is at the end of the day is love. Like
it is totally
it's
about that.
totally love. It's like the energy of the universe is love. It's the centripetal force that creates all things in the universe. Is what it's love, right? Like
Mhm.
every I don't care who, like, everything, every insect, animal, human being, like all energy desires love because it helps us progress in life, right?
Mhm.
And when love is the antidote that I believe everyone is awakening to, is loving yourself or loving other people. Sometimes when I feel angry about someone and I have this hardcore belief, oh yeah, I'm angry, I'm pissed off at this person, but at the end of the day, it's you know you come to the realization, no, I love this person, like, even if not like passionately, I love them as a person. I want them to be better. I want them to have a better life. And you get over all those angry moments and those hard feelings that you have for people, because at the end of the day, everyone just wants to be loved, and it's whether you shine with that or you retract from it. And it's okay if you really feel like enough is enough and you kind of take your own path, but you have to do it with love, right? You can't, like, if you separate, let's say, from someone, then walk away with it with integrity, with positivity, and try to do it in a way that is best for both of you, right? And I think that's really important, to to have integrity with love, and but love, I feel, is the most healing thing. Like Roger you always mentioned before about mom, about how she's like helped you through, difficult times, or about when I was there, and think maybe things that I said that triggered these memories,
Hmm.
and those are all things of love, right?
Yep.
People that are going through depression or difficulties in life, they want to be loved, right? Because there's such an empty void in themselves that maybe they don't love themselves enough. They're always looking for outside of them, outside to, to feel like, to give them confidence, right? To give them that strength, to give them that power. I always feel it's always important to kind of self-realize. I feel it's really important to self-realize about love, but I understand that sometimes it takes exterior, things outside of you to remind you of that. Hey, this, you should love yourself,
Yeah,
or
for sure.
yeah. And
Like
I think,
even though like you came all the way from Hong Kong, Melina, our sister, came, and our brother-in-law Brian came. My mom was there every single day. They were giving me love. My kids were there. They were giving me love, right? But when you get to a point where it's like you're so depressed, it just feels like even though they're trying to show you all that love, you don't feel it because you know why? Because you hate yourself, you hate your life, you hate
yeah,
this, and it creates this shield. No matter how much those people are saying, "Hang in there, I love you, everything's gonna be okay." You're just like it's just like it sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher, right? It's like
yeah,
rah
yeah,
rah
yeah,
rah 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 rah.
right, right.
That's why it's so important. That's when I realized, like,
There
dude,
is,
man, Roger, like, if you want to start changing things, man, you have to go and spend that time alone. Like I spent so much time alone with myself, and I used that energy, that dark energy, I changed it into a more positive energy, which is
yeah,
a self-love energy. And when I started to heal myself inside, it's like it just opened everything up for me, and my family saw it. They saw me changing, right? And when people see it, they feel it,
yeah,
or they feel it and then they see it, and then I started to attract them back into my life, right? I started to see that my kids started to smile, my mom stopped crying, I started to have conversations with Pat where we're laughing again, my sister didn't have to say, Roger, are you okay? She'd be like, okay, I'm coming over, because she knew I was okay, so it's, it all starts with you
I think
first, like,
I think gaming also kind of helped you overcome, right? A lot
oh,
to
like playing video games.
yeah, yeah.
No, yeah, at that point where like during my healing process, I had to start communicating with people, so I played video games, right?
Oh,
So
right, right. Yeah,
yeah,
also
like I started
communication.
talking with people, online people. I started to open up because I closed so many of those doors,
Yeah,
right? So it allowed me to be more open, and you know, it, and that there's so many things that was part of my healing process. Like Kona, for example, our dog was like a huge piece in my healing process, right? Because she walked in with love, right? She was, if I couldn't run to my kids to hug and hold, I was able to hold Kona and just, look in
yeah.
her eyes or just cuddle with her. And that helped me realize that, Roger, there's so much love in this world. Don't block it out anymore, and just try to, let it come into you, right? And it'll help allow you to open up your heart. And when I was able to open my heart, the universe, I think that's when the universe said, Roger, okay, you're ready. Here comes the good stuff, and it
Hmm.
just kept happening and happening, and it led me to writing quotes, and finding my passion, helping people, and the more people I help, that's good energy, that's just something that I really wanted to. I think ever since I was a child, I was always intrigued about other people and people's lives and being kind to them, but I just never knew what I could do to make that a bigger experience, and how I could help other people. Like, what can I do to help people? Like how you were saying before about your friends, they want to help people, but they don't know how to help people, right? So, you know, being able to love myself and allowing and receiving what the universe gave me, writing quotes was my tool, my channel to go and to operate on something that I can create for myself, that I can, help other people all over the world,
Hmm.
right? So, I'm just so blessed. I look at the whole experience, even though it was like the hardest thing to ever go through in my entire life, but it is a blessing in disguise. It truly is to be able to do
Hmm.
what I do. So crazy times, and yeah, you just never know what what was I watching that movie,
I think also
Wild
sometimes
World.
when you over focus on something that you want, it actually sometimes you think negatively about it because when you over focus on it in a way like, oh, I don't have, like, let's say it's financial, right? It's like, oh, I don't have enough money, and you keep repeating that over and over and over and over again in your head, right?
Hmm.
And it you don't make any change because it's like you feel maybe it's too hard or it's too far in the future, so
Yeah.
you don't really, you're not passionate about, you know doing something. Sometimes when you let go of things and you focus on your journey in the moment and not keep thinking about the future or the past, and be in the moment, right?
Yep.
And the
For
universe
sure.
acknowledges and says, "Oh, okay, he's kind of like he's opened up to it, right?"
Hmm.
So, then that's when things start, opportunities start happening. It's like I look forward every single day to how the universe is going to be so creative to carve like the path that it wants me to be in. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like I stopped trying to control everything. Look, it has to be this way. It has to go this way. It, you know, um, and
Trust your journey, man. That's like
yeah,
another one of the things I heard at the
you just
beginning when I
gotta
was
like.
reading quotes.
It's about energy. It's like when you pour energy into something you love to do or you want to experience. When you pour love into it, not doubt, not fear, not anger. When you pour love into it, you'll be so amazed by how the universe just kind of like creates all these opportunities, all these relationships, all these things, right in front of your face. And and then when you actually get to it, you're not even gonna realize it. You're gonna be like, wow, that happened, right? It's
Yeah.
like, or how did I end up meeting that person, or how did I end up getting that check in the mail, or whatever. It's like it's amazing how the universe just kind of, puts stitches everything together. And here's the crazy thing: the universe doesn't judge anyone or anything. You know what I mean? It doesn't. It only understands energy. So when you're putting energy into something positive, then it's going to give you positive, but don't expect it in a certain way. Just let the universe be creative and find its own rhythm to you
Hmm.
know to get you what you want, right? um I understand this whole law of attraction thing. It's like, oh, I manifest money and the money's going to come. Like, yeah, that was good. Like, that type of belief system 20 years ago when The Secret had just come out. But I think like a lot of people are starting to realize like how the law of attraction really works, right? It's like you say so, the universe already knows exactly what you want, but a lot of times you're holding yourself from not getting it because you're vibrating in the frequency of I don't have, I'm not
Exactly.
getting it. I don't know how I'm going to get it. And when you behave like that, when you act like that or think like that, the universe cannot give you what you want because you're not matching in the same frequency as what you want. But and remember, the universe is not judging you. It's just giving you and feeding you what it is that you are vibrating in the same frequency, in the same energy as what you always do. So
That's what I was.
if
That guy that when he said, what you do frequently becomes your frequency. That's
yeah, man,
exactly what it is. It's
that's awesome.
so
Love it.
powerful. It's so
Yeah,
good.
yeah. That's a powerful quote right there.
Yeah, it's so powerful, and it's so. I when I heard it, I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is, right?
yeah.
It's exactly what it is. It
It's
literally
so
is.
true. I mean, that just sums it up because
It
it's like,
does.
when you think about something, you keep experiencing the same thing over and over again, right? So ask yourself, okay, if that is true, if I keep, you know, um, frequently thinking about a certain thing and I keep getting the same result, well, then you have to change. You have to make it, and it's tough, man. I understand. Sometimes you have an illness and you don't know what to do. You're scared. There's a lot of fear, or you can't pay rent, right? And you have a lot of fear in that. Everyone's lots tons of people out there experiencing all kinds of stuff that are fearful. But you got to be brave. You have to stand up and say, no, enough is enough. I'm going to fix this shit. Like, I'm going to fix this. I'm not going to like settle for less. I'm going to make it a mission.
Mm-hmm.
If I have cancer, I don't care about what other people think about, like, oh, you're going to die. No, you can fix yourself. You can heal yourself. I believe in that power. I believe that if you believe that you can heal yourself, you will heal yourself, right? And I don't think that it's like everything is a doom and gloom. Every situation is possible to heal and fix if you have if you create a mission on it that you're going to do it, and the universe will provide, and it will love, and it will give you gifts if you take the first step, and you make it a belief in within yourself, and the universe will back you up, right? I don't want to get into like spirituality too much, because that's a whole nother topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can go down that rabbit hole. But you have a lot of unseen, non-physical support from the spirit world and also the universe that's supporting you every single day, right? And it's important to acknowledge that you have support, even though you can't see it, even though, like, you don't have human support. There's support out there energetically that is unconditionally loving, that's supporting you every single second of the day. But it's up to you to make the decision on whether you want to believe in it enough to make a difference in your life, to change. And like, this human life, it's not easy. It is a master class for the soul. You're you know you're you're in a very difficult environment, but if you survive it and you make it through and you awaken to the reality of what is really going on in the universe, and how and why you're here on this planet, you've mastered it, man. And just the fact that you were able to survive this planet is already amazing. You should pat yourself on the back that you're still breathing today, you know and understand that if you have that every day can be a miracle if you believe in it. you know I've experienced miracles in my life where I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to get that, or there's no way that that's going to happen, and it happens. You know what I mean? And I've seen so many miracles, and I've prayed for other people too. I've prayed for things for other people, and I've seen them and I've seen it work. Like, I've seen it happen. Like, if I pray for someone to get healthier, or if I pray for someone to have to be in a financial better situation, and I see it happen, right? And I'm like, wow. So I think, like, just just love yourself, love, and to the best of your ability, love other people. Like, for people that are throwing all these negative things online, or talking about negative things on uh on people's commenting, don't do that, man. The only person you're hurting is yourself. you know it's like, you need to heal in here, right? Because why am I going to spend my time saying something negative online about someone else, when I can take that time and I can put it into something, that could be more healing, or that can be more positive,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think, ask yourself, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on something negative out there, or are you focusing on something negative, or are you focusing on something positive? And if you're focusing on something that's really negative, then switch the TV off. Turn off don't watch that YouTube channel, or don't try to, or go and meditate or something. But take yourself out of that negativity. Take yourself out of that channel. You know, turn that channel off, switch it off, because it's not doing you any favor. You're not doing yourself any favor, and you're hurting yourself. So the most important thing is just to vibe, you know, force yourself to vibe in a better frequency. And
Yeah.
however you do it, but do, you know, but try to push yourself to vibrate in a higher frequency, and then watch the universe deliver bit by bit. It may come slow in the beginning, but eventually the momentum will pick up. The more positive you are, the more happy you are, you'll start to see the progress, and you'll start to see a lot of changes in your life. And we live in a world where, you know, where in physicality, where things move at a very slow rate, right? Things don't manifest instantaneously like the spirit world. Things happen in, you know, by momentum. You know, it takes time. It's like, you know, I was talking about this like 10 years ago with my friend Donald. Like, when it's like, you know, back in the day in Canada, where we have like consumers, what is it? Consumers,
Distributing
yeah, consumers distributing, where it's like you would order something and then you have to come
on a
back like a
magazine.
couple days later and pick it up.
Yeah.
That's how the universe works, right? It's like the universe already knows what you want. You already ordered it, right? But it's like, don't stop yourself from receiving it, right?
Hmm.
By saying all these negative things, or like doubting, or feel like, if you want something to come fast, then you're going to have to allow it to come fast. But by you like being like talking negatively about it, it's not you're just slowing the process down. You're
Hmm.
slowing what you ordered, you know, to be slower, right?
Yes.
I've seen people have such a strong belief, they manifest it like within 48 hours it's in their hands.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen people do it because they have this innate belief. They have nothing blocking their frequency. They have nothing blocking their energy. They manifest it so freaking fast. It's not even funny, man. I have friends that can manifest like whatever they want within like a week and a half. Like, you know, and it's just, you have to allow. You have to, if you want to live a great life, you got to allow the great things to flow into your life. And you know, there's all these roadblocks, right? Everyone has problems in their life. Everyone has relationship issues, or maybe some people have financial issues, health issues. But it's like, how you overcome those obstacles is you gotta be like okay with it, right? You can't if you keep looking at it and staring at it, and if you keep staring at a tumor, it's gonna get even worse, right? But if you look at it and say, "Hey, I can overcome this," and you find ways, you think positively of finding ways of how to heal it, how to fix it, how to meditate, how to calm the energy down, then the tumor is going to slowly, it's going to slowly leave, because you're looking for methods to you know, to suppress it, to fix it, to heal it, and do it with love and compassion, you know. So, but anyways, yeah, it's such a big
Well,
topic to get into, because it's you know, and again, I'm no one special. Okay, I'm just like everyone else. I'm just a person who has had 50 years of life, or 49 sorry years of life that I've lived, and I've had many different experiences that, you know, I didn't, there's some points in my life where I just didn't want to live anymore. I'm just like, I've had enough. I'm ready to go back to source energy. I'm ready to go back to the spirit world, you know. But it's like, you know, I've overcome many of those things, and I'm proud of it. You know, I really, it's a badge that I wear, that I'm very proud of the experiences experiences that I've had, that I was able to overcome. You know, so um, it's what I express is my own personal experience, and I'm no one special. I'm just here trying to express and help other people to the best of my ability. When I see people depressed or sad, I want to find a way to help people. You know, but I've done tons of charities. You know, I've tried to find ways to, like, you know, to help other fellow human beings. We have to come together as human beings, as a collective consciousness, to raise the vibration, to raise the frequency, to help other people, to make this earth a better place, if not for ourselves, at least for the next generation to come, at least for our kids, so that when we're gone, that at least they can have a better life and that their children can live a better life on this planet. And what we do now is important, like it's really important because it will change the algorithm of this planet, right? It will change the frequency of this planet. We put in positivity, then that can change. And even if you're changing one person, that's that's already amazing, right? So, you know, I always feel like whatever I put out there, I want to put out positivity. I want to try to take my experiences and I want to share that with other people and let people know that hey, it's okay to it's okay when you're going through tough times. Everyone does. You are not leaving this planet unscathed. You are, everyone is coming out of, leaving this planet with, hard times. So, but it's what you do with those hard times that is going to make you an amazing, have an amazing experience, right?
Hmm.
Um, so it's what we do with the hard times that, if you can bloom that, if you can make it into something better, and if you can overcome it, like, yeah, it's an amazing feeling, right? Like when you create a YouTube channel, or if you create a business or anything in your life where it flourishes, and you realize that all my hard effort, all my work that I put into, I made that flourish with my blood, sweat, and tears, with my effort, with my compassion and my drive. I made it successful. Everyone can do it. Like, everyone has the ability to do it, but it's like it's the energy that you put into it that's going to change your reality and make it amazing.
Hmm.
And with what you're doing with Roger Lee Quotes, it's like I've seen you throughout the years. You take all these steps and the energy that you put, to your channel, to your subscribers, to the people that watch you, that the people that read your quotes, and you know, and when I saw like your quotes getting tens of thousands of views, if not likes, I'm like, wow, you
Hmm.
know, like, because you were never that person before. You wouldn't even like type a message on Facebook, let alone
No, I
post
just put
post a
photos.
picture. So it's amazing to see that you're living your authentic self, but you went through a really crazy voyage, right? And overcome that experience to be doing what you're doing now. And I think that, and not only have you helped heal yourself, but you're also always finding ways to do God's work and to like try to help heal other people. This is who you truly are. And what's crazy is that even for me, I never really identified during our whole life that you were that type of person.
I know it's crazy,
Like,
right?
it's crazy. Like to a certain degree, I knew that you had a beautiful heart, like, and throughout our whole childhood, I was like, my bro's the best, like he's just always loving, he's caring, he cares about people, he's willing to make so many sacrifices for himself to make other people feel great. And you were always that type of person. But
Hmm.
to see you expand that, I never thought that you would expand it to a point where it's like you're healing the world, or
Hmm.
the people that are like watching your quotes and stuff like that. You're doing something. Whenever I talk to people, I always tell them about my brother,
Hmm. Thank you.
about, like, always tell them, I always go, like, my brother went from, like this depression to having like 1.7 million followers on his Facebook page, and he's healing people like all over the world. It's like his the power of one person has this ability to stop people from committing suicide, or from, healing them from a suffering. You're changing the vibration as a collective consciousness of of human beings. You're changing that, and that, like I said, this is a master class. Earth is a master class for the soul, and you're really amplifying. You're really being your true authentic self, and that's blooming into other people's lives and helping other people like overcome. That takes a lot of sacrifice in a sense, like meaning that you're pouring your effort, your time, your energy into trying to
Hmm.
help other people,
Yeah, and
right?
that's the difference with something that
People,
you're passionate about, right? It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
because you don't really care, you don't think about the money, you don't think about like the long term of like, am I going to be successful? It's because I love what I do. I wake up in the morning.
exactly. You're
I pour everything, but it's not like there's no, there's still a balance because you still have to, even though I'm helping other people, you also have to help yourself. But this works both ways because I'm helping people and I'm helping myself at the same time because I feel gratitude and I'm blessed. I feel blessed that I'm able to have this opportunity to help
But you know
people.
what? I think that's abundance already, to be honest
Yeah,
with you. Like
it is
what you're
a
what you're
lot.
experiencing right now in doing what you're doing, you're living your authentic self. That is
Yeah,
basically abundance, period.
totally.
Like there's so many people in the world that are not doing what they love to do, and it's so sad to see. It's like on my Facebook, I'm always trying to like express myself in terms of like try to live your passion as much as you can, and
It's not
and
easy.
it's like when I see people don't do it, it's like, wow. It's like you're willing to make that sacrifice not to live. Like when I was a kid, you remember when I was like 13 years old, I was drawing comic books, like in the backyard. Like I wasn't. I mean, not to say that school is bad or anything, but I just didn't care about like school. I just
Hmm.
I I just knew what I wanted, and I was willing to give and sacrifice everything for doing something that I love to do, which was drawing comics,
Hmm.
right? And like I just love to draw, and I was just like, nothing's gonna stop me from doing it, Like I don't care what happens. This is what I love to do, and I'm gonna do it. I just always had that in me,
Hmm.
You know how stubborn I am, right? It's
Hmm.
like when I want to achieve something, I will do everything to try to achieve what it is I love to do, right? And so I'm just grateful that I had so much support, family support, that helped me push me along the way. And yeah, it should. But anyways, what I'm just trying to say is it's amazing to watch you, uh, bloom. And I've
Hmm.
seen you bloom, and it hasn't been always difficult. I'm sure. Sorry, it hasn't always been like easy. I'm sure there's
Yeah,
a
I
lot
mean,
of
there's
it's been
plenty of
difficult,
days, there's plenty
right?
of days where you're just thinking like, I mean, in the earlier stages, like, am I doing the right thing, But it all boiled down to like, Roger, remember why you started. Like
Yeah,
that's another
exactly,
amazing quote. Like,
exactly,
just why did you
exactly.
start? And then you have to remind yourself, remember your mission? Remember that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, I got to keep
No,
going. I got to keep pushing. I got to keep, no matter what, I've got to do what I got because I love what I do. I just love what I do. Like
yeah,
when you
yeah,
find your passion, you just know that you were born, you came on this planet to do that specific job, or because it fits in so perfectly. Like you wake up in the morning, you're like, I know who I am,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I just wish that everybody could feel that, and I know it's going to
yeah,
be so difficult for anyone to be like, I'm never going to find my passion. It's like one of the hardest things to ever do. And it is because it's the truth, right? But trust me, that passion one day will find you as well. You don't have to go and search for it, right? Because if your heart already knows what your passion is, when you start to love yourself, when you start to pour that love within yourself, as we were talking before about the love energy, right? When you expand with that, then the universe is going to shower you with gifts, and one of those gifts is going to be your passion, right?
hmm
So don't focus too much on I'm never going to find my passion. I'm never going to find my passion, because when you start thinking that way, if you start telling yourself that I'm never going to find my passion, I'm never going to find my purpose, I'm never. When you start to say never, then it's going to be never. I was listening to a guy talking about God has only one answer, and it's yes. So if you're telling yourself my life is bad, God will say yes. If you're going to say I'm always going to be poor, God will say yes. But if you
Mhm.
say, I am going to be successful, I am going to find my purpose, I am going to find my passion, then God will say yes. And
Mhm.
it's just a simple way of thinking. If I start saying all these positive things and God says yes, then that's gonna happen, right? So
Mhm.
think about it, right? And it all goes back to the same thing when we were saying about that guy saying how, what you do frequently becomes your frequency. It's the same kind of thing, right? So it's all about what you're thinking about out here. Every thought that you make is being projected out into the universe. All that,
Well,
you know,
here's the thing. It's because the reason why is because it's at the end of the day, it's also, I'm very spiritual,
yep.
but I'm also very scientific as well. Like I think that I don't see them as two separate things. I see them kind of as one, right? So the universe is a mathematical equation. If you look at like energy itself, like human beings, I don't care what anyone says, you're a vibrational energy. Every cell in your body, every molecule is vibrating in
Even Einstein said
synchronicity.
that.
Yeah, in synchronicity with your thoughts and your emotions, right? Your emotions, your thoughts, everything that you're thinking and feeling is vibrating and is affecting your physical body and your and your non-physical spirit, right? So so how you vibrate, if your thoughts and your emotions create vibration, well then if you want something great, then you gotta vibrate in something great, right? And it's exactly true. Like I was saying when you're saying, uh, you know, about God, saying yes to everything. It's
Hmm.
exactly what I was saying about before about the universe, right? The universe doesn't judge you. It's only giving you what you're vibrating in. So if you're constantly vibrating in anger, then it's going to give you more of it until you change. Or if you're vibrating, like if you're saying I don't have enough money and you're vibrating in that, then the universe is going to go, okay, he wants that same thing. So it's just
Hmm.
going to keep giving you the same thing. And it could be months, it could be years, it could be decades until you realize that, hey, I've been running around in this hamster wheel of this, like, I don't have enough. And until you step off that hamster wheel and say, wait a second, I'm vibrating in that energy, in that frequency, then
Yeah,
I,
I
I
still
have to
would be
stop.
on that couch. I'd still be, I like if
Yeah.
I didn't decide to change my life that one day, I'd still be, I'd honestly think I'd still be on that couch screaming at the
Yeah.
top of my lungs and crying all day. So, it's all about choices, guys. Like the most important thing to realize that every single day you wake up, you're going to make choices. So what are those choices that are you going to do every single day? Is that choice that you're going to do today going to make a difference tomorrow that's going to make you a better version of yourself? That's what I was thinking about every single day. That's what you need to start thinking about how you're going to change your life. If you're doing something today that's not going to make you better for tomorrow, then you're not going to be better for tomorrow. But if you have a mindset telling you that, hey, you know what? My goal and my mission is to become a better version of myself, and I'm going to continue doing that every single day, then if you have that mindset, then today your choices are going to reflect on what's going to happen tomorrow. And if that choice you make is a very positive one, then something positive is going to happen to you. It might not be tomorrow, but at least you've had the idea of starting to think positive so that you can start creating this momentum, right? Like we talk about ripple effects, right? Whatever you do, whatever you say, whatever, anything that you do, you put out, it's going to cause some sort of ripple effect, right? So hopefully you're able to do something good for yourself, and hopefully you're saying good things about people and doing good things that are going to make you feel better or other people feel better, because it's all about, there's karma, right? Whatever you put out, you get back in return. So if you want to have good things happen in your life, then good things to yourself, good things to other people, right? And just try not to, like, there's a lot of people out there that love to say bad things about other people, right? The less we have of that in this world, the happier the world is going to be, right?
Yep. Totally.
Hmm.
Well, I have to, I have a flight.
Oh yeah, you have to go
Yeah,
back
I
to
have
Hong
to
Kong,
catch a flight tomorrow, so I got to get some sleep. But
and you got to get some sleep.
yeah, but it's
Yeah,
been
but it's been
awesome.
awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to do more of these podcasts for sure. Because when brother and I talk, we have a lot to talk about, as you can tell from this podcast. So
Yeah.
we are definitely going to continue this. So have a super amazing flight, super amazing flight. Have a safe flight back to Hong Kong.
Yeah, and if anyone out there wants to follow our comic book project, we're gonna share the Instagram link
And
below.
Threads, we have a Threads account now.
Yeah,
Yep.
we have a Threads account. We just started it, so there's nothing there yet. But
Yeah. But
please,
we
like,
will.
yeah, we're gonna be updating it like quite frequently soon. So when you get a chance, please check it out, and please follow us because we're gonna be doing some really cool stuff. It's
Yeah.
a new project that we're developing, and it's a
Super
really cool
excited.
story. And
Amazing.
we hope you follow on our journey.
Yeah.
Um,
So I will
so
drop all the links for everything, including
yeah,
Pat and including the Lounge 1111 if you guys want to listen to this again on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, right?
cool, man.
All right, dude.
Awesome. It's really good talking to you, bro. And
Awesome.
yeah, and
I'm waiting for you to come back to Toronto.
I gotta send some gifts and stuff to the kids. So when I
Oh.
get back to Hong Kong, I'll be sending some Gundam model kits and all that stuff.
Oh, my
Yeah,
kids are
yeah.
gonna be happy. Super
Yeah,
happy.
I need to get it there before Christmas. So
Okay.
yeah.
All
All
right.
right, guys, take
All right.
care and remember, like, stay healthy,
Love
stay
yourself.
loving. Yeah, vibrate in a higher frequency, and I wish you absolutely all the best, all the love, and remember, this place is not always dark. There's a lot of beauty in it. There's a lot of good people. There's a lot of amazing things that can happen. So keep the positive momentum, and I wish you on an incredible journey. And to move forward with positivity. So take care, everyone, and wish you all the best. And thanks for this really fun podcast.
We will catch you on our next one. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. See you guys soon.
Later, guys.